Scott, who's an emergency medical technician, explained why he was on strike.
We're here because there's been lack of funding for many years now. The services are struggling and patients ultimately are suffering, and enough's enough now.
Harriet, who's 22, is a paramedic. She says it's all about patient care.
It's frustrating because you feel empathy for the patients, that that elderly patient who's lying on our bed, they're not comfortable, they're getting pressure sores, they're thirsty, they're hungry. The hospital can only feed and kind of make so many cups of teas before you just run out of things to say. You can only apologise so many times before it just they become worthless.
The government wants new laws to ensure minimum levels of service during strikes in essential public services, including ambulances. And that provoked clashes at Prime Minister's questions.
All we're saying is that in these emergency services, patients should be able to rely on a basic level of life-saving care. Why is he against that, Mr. Speaker?
There's not a minimum level of service any day because they've broken the NHS.
So where does this dispute involving ambulance staff and other health workers go from here? As things stand, there are more strike dates on the calendar this month, including nurses next week. It all depends on whether there's any progress with pay talks. Some union leaders were a little more optimistic after talks with the Secretary of State on Monday, and they're anticipating some sort of follow-up.
We're expecting some news over the next couple of days about what that follow-up will look like. But I'm always keen to maintain optimism. But the level of progress will really depend on what next steps he sets out.
But there's still stalemate over money, with the government saying a new offer's only possible for the next financial year. Call handlers have taken strike action, though working some of their shift to provide basic cover. At London Ambulance Service HQ, they were applauded by paramedics and other colleagues as they walked out late this afternoon. If pay talks don't move forward, their next strike is the week after next. Hugh Pym, BBC News.